Every spring, the United States government mails out something like $300 billion in tax refunds. More than 2 out of 3 people who file get one, and the average check is a little over $3,000. And for most of those people, that money is already spent before it arrives. It's a vacation. It's catching up on a credit card. It's a TV, a weekend, a nice dinner, a treat yourself that feels earned because it showed up as a lump sum with the word refund stamped on it. I'm not here to shame anybody for that. $3,000 in one shot is genuinely useful money. I'm here to show you the other version of that decision. Meet Jimmy. Jimmy gets the same refund everybody else gets. And Jimmy makes exactly one change. Instead of spending it every single year, he takes his tax refund and invests it. That's it. No side hustle. No raise. No budgeting app. He just redirects a check he was already receiving. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what that one habit is worth over a career. And then I'm going to show you the uncomfortable part, which is that getting a refund at all is quietly costing Jimmy money. And there's a version of him who ends up with even more by never getting a refund in the first place. First, let's be clear about what a tax refund even is, because the word does a lot of lying. A refund is not a gift. It's not the government being generous. It is your own money, money you already earned, being handed back to you because too much of it was withheld from your paychecks during the year. You overpaid your taxes in small amounts out of every check all year long. The refund is just the government returning the overpayment, which means the windfall feeling is an illusion. You didn't win anything. You loaned the government a few $1,000s, interest-free, for a year, and now you're getting it back. Hold that thought, because it's the whole twist at the end. For now, let's take the refund at face value and use the real number. This year, the average refund is running a little over $3,000. To be conservative, and to keep this math honest for anyone watching this years from now, we're going to use a flat $3,000 a year. That's below the current average, so if anything, your real number is bigger. $3,000 a year, invested every year at 7%. Let's find out what that turns into. Jimmy starts at 25 and does this every year until he's 65. 40 refunds. $3,000 each, invested in a plain broad market index fund, growing at 7% a year. 7% is the standard long-run planning assumption. That's roughly what the U.S. stock market has returned historically after you strip out inflation. So every number in this video is already in today's dollars. No hand-waving. Run the compounding, year by year, for 40 years, and Jimmy's tax refunds turn into $598,903. Just shy of $600,000. From a check he was already getting in the mail. Now look at what actually went in. 40 refunds of $3,000 is $120,000 of contributions. And remember, that's not even money out of his budget. That's money he never adjusted his lifestyle for, because it was never in his paycheck to begin with. $120,000 in, $599,000 out, which means $478,903 of that account is pure growth. The market did 4 times as much work as Jimmy did. He didn't earn it, didn't budget for it, didn't feel it leave his account. He just stopped spending a check he was already receiving, and it quietly became more than $500,000. So let's flip it around, because this is the number that should sting a little. If Jimmy's refund invested becomes $599,000, then Jimmy's refund spent costs $599,000. That vacation every spring, that annual treat yourself, it doesn't cost $3,000. Over a career, it costs almost $600,000 of future money. That's the thing about spending a recurring amount. You're never really deciding to spend $3,000. You're deciding to spend everything that $3,000 would have become. Now, I want to be fair here, because I'm not going to pretend everybody gets a $3,000 refund. So let's scale it. Say your refund is smaller, $1,500 a year. Same 40 years, same 7%. That's $299,000. A $1,000 refund becomes just under $200,000. And if you're someone who consistently gets a big refund, say $4,000 a year, you're looking at $798,000. Whatever your actual number is, the shape is the same. A modest check you get every spring, one you were about to spend anyway, is worth somewhere between a nice car and a paid-off house by the time you retire. The only variable is whether it ends up in the market or in a memory. Now here's the part almost nobody talks about, and it's the reason a smart version of Jimmy would actually try to shrink his refund to zero. Go back to what a refund really is, an interest-free loan you made to the government. Think about the timeline. You earn that $3,000 a little at a time, spread across the whole year. A few dollars overpaid out of every paycheck. But you don't get it back until the following spring, all at once, after you file. So on average, your money sat with the IRS for about a year, doing nothing for you, before you got the chance to invest it. Meet Jimmy 2. Jimmy 2 does something slightly annoying but completely legal. He adjusts his tax withholding so that almost nothing extra comes out of his checks. He gets basically no refund. Instead, that same $3,000 a year stays in his paychecks, about $250 a month, and he invests it as he earns it, month by month, all year long, instead of waiting for a once-a-year check. Same $3,000 a year. Same 7%. Same 40 years. The only difference is timing. His money goes to work months earlier every single year. Jimmy 2 ends up with $656,267. That's $57,364 more than Jimmy 1, the guy who waited for the refund. Same money. $57,000. Gone. Purely because he let the government hold his cash interest-free for a year, 40 years in a row. So the refund you look forward to every spring? Getting excited about a big refund is celebrating the fact that you gave the government a free loan and it finally paid you back, without interest. The optimal refund isn't a big one. It's as close to zero as you can safely get, with the difference invested the moment you earn it. Okay, so how does a normal person actually pull this off in the real world without a finance degree? 3 things, and none of them are hard. Number 1. Pick where the money goes before the refund arrives. This is the entire trick. The reason refunds get spent is that they land in your checking account, sit next to your rent money, and stop feeling special. So Jimmy set up his tax return so the refund gets direct deposited straight into his brokerage or IRA. The IRS literally lets you split your refund and send it directly to an investment account on the tax form. It never touches his spending account, so he never has to feel the willpower cost of not spending it. Number 2, buy the boring thing. Jimmy is not day trading his refund. He puts it into a broad, low-cost index fund, the whole U.S. market in one purchase, and he does nothing else. 7% is a market average assumption, and you only get the market average by owning the market and leaving it alone. Number 3, and this is the graduate level move from the last beat. Once the habit is automatic, go adjust your withholding so your refund shrinks, and set up an automatic monthly transfer for the difference. That converts you from Jimmy 1 into Jimmy 2 and buys you that extra $57,000 for basically no additional effort. Start by investing the refund. Then, once that's a habit, stop needing the refund at all. Let me be straight with you about what this math does and doesn't promise, because I'd rather you trust the channel than be dazzled by a big number. First, 7% a year is a long-run average, not a yearly guarantee. The market gives you plus 20-something one year and minus 18 the next, and that average only shows up for people who stay invested through the ugly years. If you sell in a panic when the market drops, none of this happens. Second, I held the refund flat at $3,000 for 40 years. In reality, your income and your refund will change, and inflation eats into it. But I also use today's dollars and a below-average refund, so those roughly cancel, and the number stays conservative. Third, on the withholding trick, the goal is a small refund or breaking even, not owing the IRS a pile of money you don't have. Don't overcorrect into a penalty. Use the IRS's own withholding estimator or ask a tax pro and aim to land near zero, not deep in the red. And fourth, the one that matters most. This only works if it's automatic. Jimmy did not summon willpower every April. He set the direct deposit once, picked the fund once, and then let a decision he made in his 20s keep paying him for 40 years. A plan that depends on you feeling disciplined every single spring is not a plan. It's a wish. Let's put it all in one place. The average American gets a tax refund of a little over $3,000, and most of it is spent before it clears. Jimmy invested his instead, $3,000 a year, 40 years, 7%, and turned a check he was already receiving into $598,903, with only $120,000 of that being contributions and nearly $480,000 of it being growth he never lifted a finger for. Spending that same refund every year, it turns out, doesn't cost $3,000. It costs almost $600,000. And the twist, because a refund is really just an interest-free loan to the government. The version of Jimmy who shrank his refund to zero and invested the money monthly as he earned it ended up $57,000 richer on the exact same dollars. At 65, Jimmy's refund fund throws off about $24,000 a year at a 4% withdrawal rate. A permanent raise, funded entirely by a check he used to blow on stuff he can't even remember buying. So tell me in the comments, what did you do with your last tax refund? Be honest, no judgment. And if you get a big refund every year, do you think of it as a bonus or as a free loan you've been giving the government? If this reframed the way you see that spring check, hit like, subscribe for a new What If Money breakdown every week, and send this to the person who texts you a photo of their refund every April. I'll see you in the next one.